Let's get over to these reactions to the Senate thing, because oh boy. Do you want to go through their justifications first, or just let's just start from the top. I'm just gonna start from that. I gathered some of the best ones, okay? So this one was actually I believe before the group chat was announced. This is Donald Trump being interviewed by some Rumble influencer, because that's where we are now. Welcome to 21st century media. The alt media's now. And he tells them in this interview about what was in that group chat after he was asked.
Secretary of Defense Hegseth is referring to known targets, but he doesn't say what the targets are. He just generically refers to them. Those don't sound like detailed war plans.
No, and there weren't details, and there was nothing in there that compromised, and it had no impact on the attack, which was very successful. It was a very, very successful attack. Then it's an attack that Biden should have done 3 years ago, but he didn't do it.
He did. He do attacks like this all the time. What do you mean?
Also, like, what is his, like, he sounds a little...
He sounds
like,
out of it. He does sound, he sounds groggy.
Sleepy Donnie.
He sounds groggy.
Yeah, real Sleepy Donnie.
He finally got on that, he finally got on the cart. He needed it.
Apparently.
Because it would have been a lot easier 3 years ago. But we're having very good luck on the attack. It's an attack that has continued.
Yeah.
But just thing like that, maybe Goldberg found a way. Maybe there's a staffer. Maybe there's a very innocent staffer. But I think we'll get to the bottom of it very quickly.
Maybe there is a very innocent staffer. I'm very innocent. Very innocent. Oopsie doopsie.
And it's really not
like the Russians tried to get, like, we're trying to get people in the National Rifle Association as like spies, and like they're constantly trying to infiltrate political organizations. They're trying to get in. Is there no concern that just because her name's Lucy, she's blonde and she's pretty, and she said she wanted to just clear some trash out of your bin? That doesn't mean that's like, all I'm saying, is there anybody on guard here?
No, I don't think so. Well, they are on guard, but they're just facing the wrong way.
That's actually a really good way of putting it.
And they just refuse to turn in, like, and it's literally the one they're facing, and it's not even like they're facing the wrong way. They're facing the one direction that is not like a good direction to be facing. They could almost be facing any other direction. They'd be fine, except for this one.
The terror threat against Tesla is a national crisis. It needs our full attention and all of our resources mobilized for no particular reason.
Yeah, it's like, well, have we ever considered that sometimes the Teslas just do that?
Look, life is impermanent, and if you cannot accept that eventually your frame is just going to shatter, and then I don't, like, you need to maybe go on a retreat and discover yourself a bit. Let's go. That was
my favorite thing Elon said after that Tesla truck exploded in front of Trump Tower, where he's like, well, there was such minimal damage because the Tesla safety features, it detected the fire inside the cabin and locked everything down and minimized these. I'm like, so if there's a fire inside the car, it locks you inside? That's a safety feature?
You just have liberal thinking.
Exactly. I mean,
let me read you. Let me get one of these, like, regular, like, run-of-the-mill alt media sycophants, right? DC Drano. This is the person that Trump gave the redacted Epstein, or I think it was JFK files, that had nothing of import because they just blacked out all the new information. Very interesting how the Signal situation was leaked right before all these congressional hearings so that Democrats could scold Trump's admin. A part of me wonders if this was a deep state setup. Could be. Do you think the deep state set it up in Signal?
This is one of because this is like the opposite, where it's like there's probably like a couple of dudes, like if there are dudes in deep state who are trying to take down Trump, they all met on Monday going like, was this you? And they're like, no, I didn't do this. Was this you? No. It's like, did this just happen?
Oh my God, was this a contractor? No. They moved to Phil. No.
Did somebody go rogue? No, I think they just invited a reporter into the group chat. They were using, and this is all these conversations are happening.
You know why we don't know about it, DC Drano? Because they didn't add a reporter to the Deep State Signal group chat. They didn't do that.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
get
They
added,
had
DC
actual
Drano. Get added
offset.
to the group chat, and then you can reveal it. Okay.
Mm.
By the way, can I just say, as a reporter, oh my God, could you imagine?
This and like, I'm so conflicted about this because it's like, part of me like everyone was like, oh, why did Goldberg leave the chat? It's like because his fucking like you stay, and it is espionage is that at that point. But like this would. I would be afraid that it would be like, you know, that the Friends episode where they turn on the TV and it's the free porn. That's what this is for a journalist. That where you put your phone down and just leave the app open and like turn off the thing where it auto shuts down, because you'd be afraid if you touched your phone it would glitch out and then you'd leave the chat. Like this would be too good to be true. Doesn't even cover it.
Honestly, I'd be scared to leave also because they would get a notification that I left.
Yeah. And then you're like, am I about to get black bag?
And that's going to be, the thing is, that's going to scare me more because me leaving the room is going to be, they're going to be like, why the fuck did that person leave? Honestly, I think if I stayed in there, if he never said anything and it just ended there, I think they would have never known. I think they would have gone their whole life having no clue that there was a journalist just watching the entire conversation. So doing nothing might actually be the safest bet.
How much more would he have gotten by now?
Well, I think it depends. It was just a group chat for that specific decision making. If it was a continuing thread where they was like, this is our, if they decided to make the Resolute desk basically just a signal room, a Discord chat, and make all the decisions in there.
It's a Slack, so they're gonna have multiple channels.
Shall we bomb them, Trump? You just post a GIF.
Yeah. Stop making stickers out of me.
Okay. By the way, Steve Witkoff. There was some reporting that Steve Witkoff was in Moscow, or could have been in Moscow at the time of all this going down. And the thing is, I don't know if you know much about Signal's security failures, but one of the big security failures is Russia. Is that it's probably good to use, but there's one potential failure is the potential use of Russian access. And he being in Russia
there on March 13th.
And if he's in there, while messaging from Russia on Signal, there's a decent chance that they got it. And it's not like they're not gonna try. It's not like they, of course they're gonna try.
Especially, like, do you think he didn't connect to Wi-Fi the entire time he was there?
Obviously, right? He's logging into every public Wi-Fi he could find.
Yeah. The hotels that they knew he would be in.
But don't worry, guys, because Steve Witkoff came out and he released a statement. I'm incredulous that a good newspaper like Wall Street Journal would not check with me as to whether I had any personal devices with me on either of my trips to Moscow. If they had, they would have known the truth, which is I only had with me a secure phone provided by the government for special circumstances when you travel to regions where you do not want your device compromised. That is why CBS News reported that Goldberg himself, that he had not recounted Witkoff making any comments in the group chat until Saturday after he left Russia and returned to the US. Why? Because I had no access to my personal devices until I returned from my trip. So it was on his personal device.
Yeah, so he's admitting that this Signal chat, cool, because I think already kind of knew this, but this is him confirming that this discussion was happening on Signal on his personal device.
Yeah, he was like, I didn't do it in Russia. I just looked at the strike times on my personal phone.
Yeah, no, what he's also saying is that the entire time I was in Russia, my personal unsecured phone was unattended.
Well, we don't know that. It could have been in a lockbox somewhere in his office. Who knows?
Yeah, it could have been a skiff or something. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, he
Or
could
not
have
a
buried
skiff.
it in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, they're so dumb. They don't even know what they're admitting to half the time.
But don't worry. DOD rapid response is here, okay? Because us, you and me, Stuart, we're liars. Because we're part of the lying lamestream media.
Oh, yeah, this was my favorite today. Or whenever, yesterday.
They backpedaled the whole war plans thing really fast. Here are the attack plans.
Yeah, it was just,
How stupid do they think Americans
military
are?
operation. It's not a war.
How stupid do they think? They have to, I mean, look, I'm not going to be too mean to my countrymen. I know we've made some pretty interesting decisions in our days, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what do you mean? I didn't cheat on you. It was just a date. This is the level we're at.
Yeah, no, I didn't have sex with her. She just put my penis in her mouth. It's different. Those are two different things, different bases.
It was like
Now you're
it was
backtracking.
like a wine tasting, but for hog.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you accused me of sleeping with another woman, and now you're backtracking and admitting it was just a blowjob.
Look, okay, you said that we could try new things in our relationship, and apparently that was not sleeping with our son's teacher. That I now know.
Not a murderer. He's in a coma.
Okay, but no, this wasn't even just like this is the DOD rapid response. This is the Department of Defense. This is the Department of Defense, and I saw the DOD getting involved before when there were some Congress people. I don't know if you saw this, but they posted like a choose your fighter, and they did like a silly fighting dance, and it looked really goofy. I don't know if you saw it. But there was a dumb TikTok trend amongst like Democrat Congress people with choose your fighter, and then it would be like I like cookies and my name's Samantha and and she'd do like whatever. And then the DOD posts a video of choose your fighter, and it's like soldiers like doing hardcore shit because they're soldiers, and it's more natural because they're not a pencil neck suit. And I didn't really, and it didn't mean anything really. It's not like it didn't hurt anybody. But I don't like the DOD getting involved in those types of like political squabbles. And even if it's not said, even if it's not directly, even indirectly, even the appearance of getting involved in those types of political squabbles is bad. The politicization of the Department of Defense is bad. The Department.
Why do they even have a rapid response account? It's insane.
And of all the things to be rapid responding to, it's like, you losers said that we leaked our war plans. No, we just leaked our attack plans. That's the cook.
This is maybe the time for a measured and reasonable and like take your time with the response sort of thing.
Apparently not. But don't worry, Pete Hegseth. He's got a message for us. He's got an answer.
Oh, here we go.
So let me
Whiskey
get this
leak.
straight. The Atlantic released the so-called war plans, and those plans include no names, no targets, no locations, no units, no routes, no sources, no methods, and no classified information. Those are some real shitty war plans. This only proves one thing. Jeff Goldberg has never seen a war plan or an attack plan, as he now calls it. Not even close. As I type this, my team and I are traveling the Indo-Pac region. Yes, more leaks! Woo! Yes! Yes, man, it's a never-ending tsunami. Meeting with commanders, the guys who make real war plans, and talking to troops. We will continue to do our job while the media does what it does best. Peddle hoaxes. What a
He's
load
apparently
of
not.
horse hockey.
I'm assuming we're not supposed to know he's in with the Indo-Pac region.
Yeah, yeah. You guys have you heard that abbreviation before? I bet you got to Google it.
I don't think I'm literally Googling it. Oh,
Yeah, it's real. It's real official. Yeah, it's real. It's real official. Because I'm official. Yeah.
Because there's a couple of them that there's a couple of them that I like. The Africom I've heard of. That's the and like Eurocom. I thought that was probably gonna. It was gonna be
The time of
Indo-Pacific.
airstrikes. What are this is what they're trying to say, that it didn't have every single detail, right? But having any of the plan is part of the plan. If the Germans found out half of the D-Day landing locations or the time that there would be an attack in France, that would be enough time for them to like put their troops on alert. And Hitler wouldn't have been asleep during the time of the attack. He would have been awake, probably, and then it would have been totally different. And then maybe would have had more paratroopers captured, because it was very chaotic, like the chaos we caused by. It could have been a totally different situation. And in this case, we weren't doing a gigantic, massive, like continent-changing land war. We were doing airstrikes, as we have done against the Houthis time and time again. But if they had gotten the wrong person in there, those times could have been given to the Houthis, say by, let's say we change one or two factors and Steve Witkoff was on his personal device in Russia messaging this. The Russians got that. There's been reports that the Russians have given targeting information to the Houthis before.
Also, if this is, so it's like, so they send this and we know that it's sent sometime after 1144. Here's the thing. That's what? If that is so, like, assume it like the worst case scenario. This isn't Jeffrey Goldberg in the chat. It's like, I don't know. It's like the Russians, or it's like some real clever Houthi hacker.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get this before, like, sometime after 1144, before noon. You call out whoever the target is, be like, hey, wherever you're gonna be at 1:45, don't be there. Get as far away from there as possible. It's like it's less. It's
or
more,
even if they don't have the locations, one thing they could just having a general state with readiness for air defense systems is enough to is something that's a risk. That's something that could endanger American pilots.
Yeah, and if you know how fast an F-18 can go, and when they've left, and when they're supposedly left, and when they're supposed to arrive. You can get a smart dude to do some math there and figure some shit out. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what you figured out.
They can go like 7 or 8 speed, very fast planes.
Yeah. What's the farthest they can go in that amount of time? And then just try to get out of that distance if you can.
I think 5 or 6.
Mach?
No, just 5. No, just 5 or 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here's, by the way, listen to how he's talking about this right now. This is what he said in the immediate aftermath when, I think he was probably most nervous.
This is another one of those where it was like, how that's worse, right? Sort of thing.
Listen to his answer of them asking about if this information was declassified. He's saying that it wasn't classified, this and this and that. But back then, immediately in the aftermath, he knew it was classified, and that's why he was behaving like this when he was asked, and he dodged it.
Mr. Secretary, the messages the White House called authentic did at the very least include sensitive details about targets and timing. Did you declassify that information before you put it in the chat? And are you using Signal to discuss operations as sensitive as the strikes against the Houthis on a government or a personal phone?
First, all I would say is the strikes against the Houthis that night were devastatingly effective. And I'm incredibly proud of the courage and skill of the troops. And they are ongoing and continue to be devastatingly effective.
And that's it. Just no answer. Because he didn't want to give an answer, because they knew any answer could incriminate them.
This wasn't, that wasn't the one I saw. I guess I must have seen another one where he attacks the calls, basically calls Jeffrey Goldberg a liar and a scumbag or whatever. And it's like, again, that's worse, because he was for sure in the group chat.
I will say, though, them saying that the Atlantic didn't have classified information did make it a lot easier for them to release it.
Mm-hmm. And where it's like, oh yeah, okay. If the government is saying that the information you have is not classified, then you're in the clear to release it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so
they made multiple public statements.
They kind of made their own bed there.
By transitive, like I think by transitive property, I mean, I don't know if they have the power to. I don't know if Trump said there was no classified information in the chat, but
Did you see what Tim Pool said about all this?
yeah, this is great.
Did you see this?
I saw parts of it.
So Tim Pool believed, when in the immediate aftermath of this, and I just found this out, he believed that this was actually all 4D chess, big brain moves by the Trump administration, and we are just too stupid to understand the genius of the purposeful leaking and adding of this journalist to the group chat. Listen to him go.
Go ahead and say, I believe strongly that this was intended to trick the journalist into publishing this message. The messages are scripted. The DOD does not greenlight 2 hours in advance strikes on a foreign country like this. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm willing to bet.
I feel like
How would he know?
Fly places.
Out of all, how would he know? Tim Pool, DODX, what General Tim? What was it like when you approved the airstrikes, Tim? How much time did you give air crews to prepare? How long did it take you to put the bombs on there? How long did it take to get the aircraft, the pilots out there, in there, make sure it's refueled, routed out, make sure you have the crewmen who actually have to like get the plane out there, the air traffic control people who have to do the magic air hand movements for good luck, which is what I assume they're for. But no, how much time he doesn't know. He just, I remember watching him talk about, if Ukraine invades Russia, or Ukraine does this or Ukraine does that. I think it was about Ukraine invading Russia. He talked about now that Ukraine's invaded Kursk and Ukraine's in these long range strikes, Russia is going to invade Estonia. And then when they invade Estonia, they're going to go this way. And he's acting like a little general or something. It's just, he has the same illness, the same sickness, disease that Elon Musk has, which is like unbelievable amount of confidence in a thing they just learned about. Like when Elon talks about how, oh, don't worry, jets don't matter anymore because drones will replace them. We don't need F-35s. We can just get rid of the whole program.
And also, it's like, even if that were true, all of this, like the administrations and all of these people involved, all of their reactions to it completely contradicts the idea that they wanted him to leak this, where they're like baiting him or something.
Why was Tulsi so scared?
Yes. They wouldn't have been baiting him to keep putting this to keep releasing this stuff.
My gosh.
If they want, that's the thing where it's like, it's a sort of a catch-22. If they yeah.
Man, if Tim keeps this up, I'm going to have to stop donating.
Mm-hmm.
That considering the meetings I've been in and how slow everything is, bro, I can't install chicken wire in an hour. I can't install chicken wire in 1 hour. If I want chicken wire put up, I got to make like 3 phone calls and then complain why it's not getting done. And you think the government is just like, let's have a debate real quick over whether or not I'm going to press the button and fire the missiles from our destroyers off the coast of Yemen. I mean, look,
okay.
I think those are two wildly different things. I think a municipal bureaucracy is a lot different than the fucking Air Force.
A global Air Force
which one this would have been.
Designed specifically with the intention that we could strike anywhere at any time all around the world. That's how our military has been designed.
Physically possible. And it's like he's like, oh, they greenlit it 2 hours in advance. It's like, no,
it almost feels like he's just amazed.
And then the planes took off. And it's like, we're assuming that it took them 2 hours to get there, and that's a long time. Depending on how far they flew from, we'd be like, holy shit, they got there fast. We don't know how far those planes were flying from.
It just sounds like he's more amazed at the wonder of human creation. I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, we have the technology to do this. We have the power to do this. Also, how do we know it was 2 hours? Did it say 2 hours in the article, or is it 2 hours from when he saw in the list, right?
No, well, yeah, well, I'm assuming because it said like there was that 11:45, weather is good. F-18s take off, then it was 12:40 or 1:45 was when the first strike happened. So that's like an hour and 45 minutes. So I was guessing that's what he meant.
My point is, they could have prepared before that message was posted. Those aircraft and those airmen, they can be prepared in advance in the possibility of something like that being decided or something going. And they also will keep certain people like ready in an area in case something quickly has to be done. It's not like, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, they're in gear, they're ready to jump in a plane in 5 seconds, but they'll have them in an area where if they need to, they can quickly get in a jet and, you know, carry out a mission. Point is, like, yes, we've developed an armed force that's specifically supposed to do this, and he's amazed by what the United States military was designed to do.
And in any other situation, if you like he almost has to start like denigrating the U.S. military, like comparing them to like a fucking DMV or like a bylaw office to make this argument that they couldn't have been able to do this.
It was the easier no, it can't be the easy explanation of oops, I added that guy. This is the 4D chest move to impress. It's fun. I can give Tim that. It's a lot more fun.
And it was all scripted around an actual real strike on the military operation that happened exactly the way it was detailed in the chat. Okay.
That's just to fool us, as we are now fooled.
DOD Rapid Response has a clip of Hegseth on Fox News saying that you're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist. So I mean, look, they're denying that it even.
This dude follows me on Twitter.
This guy?
Yeah, I listen to some of his music. What, dude? Phil, come on, man. Come on, dude. You're supposed to, you challenge power. Fight the power, right? Fight the power. The DOD said it's not an issue. Oh, okay. The DOD said that this journalist is stupid. Well, I mean, if the Department of Defense said a journalist is dumb, you know, that's great. That's great. Go arrest Julian Assange for me. Okay. Well, go arrest Edward Snowden. Like, there's all these figures that specifically challenge these institutions that are like cool and best because they're subversive. But now, since Trump's their guy and he's in there, now we need to just like take the DOD at its word. That wasn't even an argument. It's just the DOD said this, and I mean, if there's like a report to back it up, if there's some evidence, if there's some precedent, but all they're saying is that the reporter's discredited. How is he discredited? It would be easier if you said something like, hey, Jeff said this and that was a lie, so therefore, boom, he's discredited. Instead, like, for example, like you could say Trump said this, he lied, therefore he's discredited when it comes to his honesty. Do that for him. Don't just say the DOD said so.
That was like when Tulsi went and was testifying before the committee, I saw a bunch of people like tweeting, and like a lot of it was like sort of these right-wing sort of media people, quote unquote journalists, going, Gabbard confirms that there was no confidential, which is especially funny now, but it's just like, no, she didn't confirm it.
She just said it.
She just said the same. She just made the same claim.
That's
reiterates claim. She did not confirm jack shit.
That's well more than enough. Okay, how much more time you have? Because we can watch some clips of the hearing.
Oh wait, go back, because that's like, oh, you were traveling at the time of the discussion, because it's like, oh, TG was traveling at the time. Maybe that's why she wasn't making any comments either in the chat.
Do you want to watch the intelligence briefing itself, or do you want to just watch some clips from it? Because
I watch some clips, or either one, whichever one you want.
Well, I was just thinking how much time you have.
Yeah, let's do some clips because I gotta get to bed and get up early in the morning. So let's do some clips.
Okay, so I got 3 clips, at least 3 clips that I thought were interesting. This is Gabbard, like just hours after the full Atlantic report came out. Of course, she said that there was no classified information in this. And she also continued to be as dodgy as she was last time, even under the pressure. Let me just give you one example where Tulsi Gabbard can seemingly not recall where she was during the time of these discussions, even though it was just like a week, maybe week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks max.
At the time, Mr. Witkoff was actually in Russia during this chat discussion, was he not? I was not aware of that.
Was he on his personal phone at the time?
I don't know.
Well, it's my understanding that he was indeed in Russia. Director Gabbard, you were also traveling during this discussion, correct?
Yes.
And where were you?
I was traveling through the Asia-Pacific region. I don't recall which country I was in at that time.
You don't remember the country?
I'd have to go back and look at the schedule.
Okay, I do not recall. I mean, I gotta say, out of all the times she said I do not recall, this one's probably the easiest to believe. I can believe she just forgot, maybe? Am I being too credible? Am I being too nice? I think you died. Hello? Yes, it seems that we've lost our Canadian. He passed away. He was just too Canadian.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know. You passed. I told him you died. Hello?
This is weird.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Welcome back. How was the afterlife?
Good. I don't know what the hell happened there, but we're good now.
Okay, let me start streaming it again. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So here is Gabbard responding to her recollection or lack thereof of details that were posted there. Her response to her, let's just say, inconsistent responses as to what was in those messages actually.
Mm-hmm. Also, I immediately found where she was.
Where was she?
She was in Honolulu on the 12th.
She was in where?
Honolulu.
Honolulu.
My first stop on my trip to the Indo-Pacific was in Honolulu, where I visited NSA Hawaii, where we talked about the importance of accurate, timely intelligence in upholding America's Fourth Amendment rights.
Whoa, Gwent Ranzer, thank you so much for the $100. Thank you very much, buddy. Damn. I appreciate that. Stay safe when you go back to Ukraine. I will not, and I will use all of this for narcotics. Thank you very much. No, I won't. Or will I? I don't know. Probably camera gear, actually. Where were we? Oh yes, the honorable Cash Patel. That's where we were. He needs different glasses. Who told him those glasses were a good idea? Why? I don't know why, but the big frames makes him look more bug-eyed.
And also because the edges, like where the arms meet, they're sort of like turned up too, which is not helping.
Yes, Ranking Member. My answer yesterday was based on my recollection or the lack thereof on the details that were posted there. I was not, and what was shared today reflects the fact that I was not directly involved with that part of the Signal chat and replied at the end reflecting the effects, the very brief effects that the National Security Advisor had shared.
So now she's confirming she is in the Signal chat. That TG is Tulsi Gabbard, which, I mean, shocking. I believed her. I trusted her. So she is in the Signal chat, but she's saying that she was added at the end after everything important was said, and so that's why she doesn't have a recollection. Couldn't she have just checked her phone? Couldn't, like, when this all happened, right? Wouldn't the first thing you do be like, oh yeah, I was in the group chat from the scandal. Oh yeah, wouldn't that be your first reaction?
Well, maybe it's because she
was
in New Delhi.
She was just so distracted by, you know, all of the comings and goings that she forgot the intelligence as the top intelligence official in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, she was at Pearl Harbor on the 14th, and then she posts from New Delhi on the 17th.
Well, Pearl Harbor is a moving experience, so you can't blame her too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Testimony that less than 2 weeks ago, you were on a Signal chat that had all of this information about F-18s and MQ-9 Reapers and targets on strike, and you in that 2-week period simply forgot that that was there. That's your testimony?
My testimony is I did not recall the exact details of what was included there.
That was not your...
She did also say that there was no classified data and that she wasn't there. I remember that as well, that she said she wasn't there, which is why she couldn't recall. But it was weird because she would dodge, then answer, but I guess this is why she was dodging. Maybe she shouldn't have answered. It'd been better if she just dodged the whole time, because dodging, then answering and giving bad answers, you got the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, you gotta, if you're gonna dodge, you can't stop dodging. You can't give up.
Then you look like a loser and a coward.
Exactly.
That was not your testimony. Your testimony was that you were not aware of anything related to weapons packages, targets, and timing.
As the testimony yesterday continued on, there were further questions related to that, where I acknowledged that there was conversation about weapons, and I don't remember the exact wording that I used, but I did not recall the specific details that were included.
No classified data. No classified data. So this is a rough start for being the top intelligence official in the country. I gotta say, a rough start. Honestly, I don't know if this is gonna have much rub on Trump. I mean, I think it might have some negative rub on Trump, like maybe of the approval rating. But I think this has largely been concentrated in his cabinet. Now, I mean, I understand that this cabinet is a representation of him. And the longer he keeps people on who are doing a bad job, the more it'll rub off on him. But, you know, it takes time for it to dilute from one person to another. Like if, you know, you hug somebody who's warm, it takes time for the body heat to transfer. Do you think Trump would actually ever cut the rope on any of these people? I think he would, but I don't think it's anywhere near that circumstance yet.
No, because this is it's not even something, I don't even know if it really does reflect that poorly on, or it does reflect poorly on him, but I don't know if it's in a way that'll like make a meaningful difference to make people significantly think of him much less. It would have to be something, I think, more significant to actually move the needle lower. It's just the pressure is so immense already that it needs to be even to get it down any lower.
No, this needs to be like the type of scandal that snowballs to a point where he feels like, I gotta derail this somehow, and the way to derail it is I need a fall guy. That is how I would imagine it.
Yeah, like maybe one of them gets maybe Waltz gets the axe just because he has the admin beside his name. But I don't think Gabbard gets this'll.
I think most likely. I mean, he's even calling the staffer innocent. So even the unnamed fall guy isn't allowed to be a fall guy. But also that means that there's no fall guy, so all the blame will dilute throughout the administration. If people care enough.
Yeah. It could be one of those things where it's just like, you can't really blame any one person, so everyone's ends up being blameless, sort of thing. It's like, because you can't really like, they're all sort of to blame, so none of them are gonna have to be held responsible or will be.
What if I told you this isn't where it stops?
Oh no. Do you think there's responsibility? Oh.
One last thing, one treat. This is the owner of Signal. There are so many great reasons to be on Signal, now including the opportunity for the Vice President of the United States of America to randomly add you to a group chat for coordination of sensitive military operations. Don't sleep on this opportunity. Now, that was just funny. I just wanted to throw that out here. But here's the next thing. Mike Waltz, the same person who added this journalist to the group chat, also left his Venmo friend list public.
Oh my God. How did not everyone in Congress, as soon as that happened to what's his face, And he got caught like sending money to underage girls.
Because no one thinks it'll happen to them. Oh, that was stupid Matt Gaetz. It won't happen to me.
Oh no.
Don't worry though. There's also just private data and passwords of senior U.S. security officials also being found online, according to new reporting by Der Spiegel. This includes the contact data of some of those officials, mobile phone numbers, emails, etc. Now, this isn't anything that'll contain extremely sensitive information, right? I mean, the worst thing that you imagine that happen is you call one of these guys and it's really embarrassing that you have their phone number, right?
Yeah.
But it does make me question exactly how clean these people's internet profile is, and how, if they're adding these people accidentally to these group chats, how they're going to navigate for the next 4 years with secured devices, and if their staff are going to be able to keep them in line.
Like what? Like, well, here's the thing: are they like signing up to like even just like Truth Social or Rumble, and just like creating accounts in their own name with their like actual address and like phone number in it, or like because these things get like, you can like, I'll get like, I have my Google alerts set up, so it's like anytime like a like there's like a forget one of those, like they'll just sort of scrape passwords and there'll be a big data leak or whatever, and then you have to go in and like change the password on a bunch of things because it was the same password on that thing that got leaked. So I would guess that's how some of this
John
stuff
Podesta
happened.
got that phishing. He got phished. John Podesta.
Yes.
I mean, we've had people throughout the government like get caught up easy. And it's just, these are people also with not much experience. I mean, and the thing is, crazy enough, Mike Waltz is supposed to be one of the ones with more experience. So can I just ask you, as a member of a Five Eyes nation that's supposed to share intelligence with the United States, do you think that feels very secure right now? How do you think the Canadian government's thinking about this? You have any idea?
I mean, well, we were already like looking kind of sideways about that. Canada's ex-spy chief says White House response to single leak threatens Five Eyes security. There it is, right there. I mean, and you guys were already talking about kicking us out of Five Eyes, and at this point, we might be like, I mean, not sharing our intelligence with you might be a good idea at this point. I mean, I don't know how much we could actually contribute, but it's like some useful stuff in the north, I would assume.
Yeah, I just my fear isn't even that any like Canada or Australia is gonna like leave, the UK is gonna leave Five Eyes. That's not my direct concern, really. My more immediate concern is that we're going to destroy our reputation when it comes to our handling of intelligence, whether it be through the Jack Textera leak, whether it be through obviously this leak, and it's going to make other nations more hesitant to share intelligence with us, which could mean that if there's a certain threat that could be of significance that we might be able to use to help us defend ourselves, say from a terrorist or some other thing, well, God damn it, maybe we're not going to get that information now. And that's something that spirals where, well, then they're not giving information, then maybe we're not giving information secretly.
If it's not, maybe if it's not, it might not even just be sharing information, but would you want to coordinate on some sort of strike against the Houthis with the Americans? I mean, like if I was any sort of military
I think I could spam enough fire emojis and flex emojis to hang with these guys for the few hours it would take.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's just more like if you're telling, if say I'm like a fucking Air Force general or whatever, and I'm like, okay, my planes are going to be leaving from the base here and they'll get to the target at this point. I don't know if I want to share that with the Americans right now, because who knows what fucking private group chats that's getting shared in. It's getting sent to like some e-girl over Instagram to impress her. Like what is this? You don't know where it's being shared with now, because that's sort of, I think, the thing where it's sort of, I think it's It's not a zero-sum game, but it very much is a zero-sum game where it's like you're either trusted with intelligence or you're not. And once that sort of seed of doubt gets in there, I feel like that's probably going to get it would get. But I'm also talking out of my ass. I don't know what I don't know if that's for sure, but like that's just like if it's happened once, are we sure this hasn't? This is not just the first group chat coordinating an international military strike that has happened, or it's just the first one we found that a journalist has been added to accidentally.
Look, if you want to
that's the thing. None of these people, because people kept bringing up like, I can't believe none of these people brought up that they shouldn't, that this chat shouldn't be happening, or that they shouldn't be there, and none of them seemed to think it was weird. And it's like, yeah, because they probably got that all out of it.
Could you imagine being that guy? Could you imagine being that guy and you're in that room? We're trying to be that guy. Hey guys, we need to use a secured line. They called you gay, man. That'd be the response.
Yeah.
They'd be like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. That's the thing. Is like that's what my point is. That probably happened. It just probably happened a couple of group chats ago, and they got it all. The one person who brought it up got called the F slur and probably the R slur as well, because they're so friggin' enamored with that now. And then now everyone knows that you just don't bring that up anymore.
My favorite White House bullying was the old stories of Trump bullying Pence for being scared of gay people, and he would bully him about it. I think they used to call him Mr. Shock or something. I forget exactly what it was. It's good old fashioned White House bullying. But I do think you have some truth there. If you want to make your Discord kitten happy, center the location of multiple CIA black sites.
Yeah, your War Thunder playing. Yeah, where did you think that War Thunder was getting all the good shit?
Hey, man, it's a real issue. The War Thunder, it happens so much. I don't know how it keeps happening. It just keeps happening. They're just so heated. But you want to know there's something beautiful about it, knowing that Chinese, American, Russia, all these gamers from all around the world, at the end of the day, are the same argumentative neats when they want to when they want to argue about specific projectile lengths and percentages, and it's beautiful.
That's why I can never really get too mad at that shit, because it's like it's entirely benign in the sense that they're not doing it to try and harm their country. They just want their game to be better, more realistic, and or win an argument. And it's like I can't respect the
primarily
action.
The latter.
The intent, the intent, primarily the latter. But the intent and the desire, I can completely understand.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
lengths you will go to prove yourself right.
Especially and when you're thinking about these people playing these War Thunder games, think about this for a second. If you are a tank crewman, and then when you're not in a tank, you decide to spend your time in a digital tank, you're somebody who probably is really into fucking tanks, and you really care about that shit. And then you see something wrong in that game, or you hear somebody say something about tanks that you think is stupid because everybody's an expert on everything. And you just set off, you break, and you say, motherfucker, you don't believe me? Look at this. And then, I can see it. I can see the escalation train.
Yeah. Well, it would probably also be like if you're like, because it's like you've trained in that, you know that like you spend all your life. This is your home.
It's your home.
And you know every inch of that thing, like a long time, like a long lost lover. You know every inch of her, and then you're playing the game, and you're like you're about to clinch the battle, and you go to like do something, and the thing you know is there isn't there because the designers were lazy. If you got like 180 no scoped by like a Panzer tank because like the round you're supposed to be firing is not an explosive one. You know damn well.
Their tank shouldn't even be able to do that at that distance or something. Yeah.
And you're like, you know that not even like where it's like Halo, where it's like, there's no way he sniped me. It's like, you know, mathematically that wouldn't have happened in real life. That it doesn't go down like that.
So do you have any final thoughts on this entire scandal and the reaction, and what do you think the fallout should be and what it would be, what it's probably going to be.
Well, to skip over what it should be, because what it should be is like probably someone gets, court-martialed, I think would probably be the right term. I think that's probably, like a perfect
You'd
world.
probably have some U.S. Marshals involved, or you'd at least summon these people before Congress and have some sort of investigation. There's not going to be an investigation. If there's going to be an investigation, it's going to be an internal thing that they quiet down.
Yeah. You don't get security clearance anymore. At least one of you. You got to give us a sacrificial lamb at this point, at the very least. What's already happened is the goddamn tariffs are back, so he can distract from it. I'm convinced that's what it is. Because we had till April 2nd, goddammit. Now he's doing some more tariffs.